I like the beats.
All right, fam.
Fam.
Let's break it on in.
How are we doing on the internet? Good?
We're doing great on the internet today,
good.
hopefully. Welcome back to the CONVO Couch, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I am Fiorella. Happy Catter Day.
Happy what today?
Catter Day.
Catter Day. What is a Catter Day? Is it like a cat Saturday? Like
Yeah,
you're just chilling out like a
cat.
cat on a Saturday?
Exactly.
Man, we have a lot of things to unpack today. It's been a crazy week in politics, and fam
Yes.
has been wound up, coming home from work, ready to do this work. We want to apologize for some of the technical difficulties, but AT&T sucks a bag of Richards.
Yeah. So do Spectrum, and they're
All
the
of
only
them.
two options that we basically have. So.
Everybody seems to be having these problems right nowadays when they're trying to do a podcast talking about things on the left. And, fam, let's talk about some of the identity politics that's been going on, because I know we put up a little bit of a cartoon the other day, and it was so true, but it had fam fired up all day. So, fam, why don't we talk about this little cartoon we have, and then we can go into our show.
Sure. Let's look at the cartoon. It's pretty funny. It says neoliberal class reaching out, and then it's like the Democrats coming in giving you a high five with their identity politics, like, and then not doing anything at all to actually resolve the issue, which is my entire problem with the majority of the Democratic Party, and my entire problem with people like Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, and the like, because all they do is they use minorities and people of color to get votes. Mm-hmm. And they do this by putting things like gender and race as a top concern. However, I think saying that isn't denying the fact that there is a divide. There is a divide in gender. There's a divide still in race. We have to be we have to acknowledge that exists. We are not saying it doesn't exist. What we are saying is that it's being manipulated,
Weaponized?
Yeah. Exactly, in order to get votes from these very same communities, and then enact policies and legislation that actually hurts them, i.e., let's vote for Hillary Clinton and not Bernie Sanders. Mm-hmm. He's old, he's a white man.
Yeah.
Or let's go for Kamala Harris instead, because she's a woman of color and she's a woman, and Bernie Sanders is an old white guy. Well, she is a corporatist, okay, and Bernie Sanders is a working a senator that's been fighting for the working people for over 30 years.
Yeah.
So in that way, I've even seen some progressives start saying, well, Bernie, he's white, maybe we should make room for the person for the job is the best person for the job, regardless of their race, their gender, or ethnicity.
Mm-hmm. So it's about policy, content of character, and let me tell you something, fam. I think we're going to start pulling those cards off those progressives who keep playing these identity politics, because this cartoon says it all. And fam, I think a little bit differently. I don't ignore racism, but I always believe that race was invented to keep us fighting with each other. And that's what it says in this identity politics cartoon. It's that if you keep us fighting with each other over everything, the rich exploit us and they run off with all the money. And I want to echo what Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez once said. Yeah, there is a fight between what's going on the left and the right, and there's a gender equality fight, there's a patriarchy out there, but the major fight is between top to bottom. And as long as they can keep us divided fighting with each other, they run off with all the money. Remember, fam, we once reported on the show that 420 people own 80% of the resources in this world. And if that doesn't sink into you, then I don't know what will.
Well, let me just also say that both race and gender and the patriarchy and the economic side of the divide between the elite and the working class are tools used by the system to keep people oppressed. They're all part of the same mechanism used to perpetuate the system in which, you know, we're so hyper focused on little things like this and attacking each other that we aren't able to progress and focus on the true enemy and the true bigger picture, which is the reality that, you know, there's so many of us that are lacking normal things like healthcare and education. And meanwhile, you know, we're just fighting amongst ourselves for the scarcity of the resources, and we should be focused on the bigger fish.
Absolutely. You know, and, you know, I think people have it's a hard pill to swallow right now, what's going on, especially with Donald Trump, with some of the things he's doing. I think you have a little something you posted up. Do you want to talk about that? This is great, too, as well.
So this one's kind of hard
any blue won't do, kind of.
Yeah, this one's kind of a hard to swallow pill because it says Trump is the same as all of your favorite presidents. Except he just isn't or is articulate enough to sugarcoat his crimes for you to feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
So I think I wouldn't say he's like the same exactly. I think he's an interesting mix because he ran as a populist and anti-establishment, even though we know he isn't. But he doesn't sugarcoat everything. A lot of the focus on the left, which is a misfocus, is the things he says and the words and just making fun of him. And I don't like Donald Trump. I really have like no defense against him or for him. But at the same time, I feel like if we were to focus more effectively on how to stand up to some of the policies he's doing or how to work with some of the actual good things he is doing, whether by accident or not, we would be more adept at taking him out. Because if you want him out, you need to do better than focus on the shitty things he's saying. We know he's not articulate. We know that. But Obama was extremely articulate and well-spoken, and he did a lot of damage. Well. So we need to stop having this idea that, if someone's articulate and charming and looks nice, that they're going to be good for us. No, that's the same bullshit we've gotten. And that's why he's president. Because people, the majority in America, are sick of that. So they're going to go one way or the other. Yeah. And when you denied them the good Bernie Sanders true populist candidate, guess what? They went with the Donald Trump. And that's been happening time and time again throughout various countries. Yeah. We see it happening worldwide. Yeah, we saw it in Brazil.
And it's all about the system. That's why it blows my mind when I see some of these progressives out there who put down, I will vote for any Democrat out there no matter what. No, people are looking at, the parties when they should be looking at the system as a whole. Because it's not about Democrat or Republican. It's about being a what we call right now a corporate globalist, who wants to have global domination and will always stand behind corporate people. There's a lot of Democrats out there that still will do that. And it's evident from what just happened this whole week. So it's not just saying we got to take out Donald Trump. We got to take out the system. We have to take out everything that has to do with the poor getting exploited by the rich, okay? And Donald Trump hasn't been the best fan to that at all. So we needed somebody to get in there who's really going to go out there and look after workers, who's going to get them their Medicare, their healthcare, whatnot. And Trump is a lot like those other people. Let's not forget this. Trump is doing things that we thought Obama would do. If we thought that Obama wouldn't be aggressive in Syria, that he would have got us out of Afghanistan, that he wouldn't have gone into Libya, that he wouldn't have allowed his stuff to happen in Honduras. And yet we hear Donald Trump saying, hey, we're going to remove troops out of Syria, 2,000 troops coming home. Hey, we're going to stop with Afghanistan now. You know what I'm saying?
And we're going to talk about that more in depth later. But let me just say, let's put the words, some of the things Trump is doing, the words on Obama, and I guarantee you people would react entirely different if it was him doing it, and I guarantee you that. So Russia, and I didn't want to talk about Russia because we are Russian bots, and you guys already know that we work for Putin. But now Russia's come back, and Russia always seems to come back whenever we want to distract and not deal with our issues. So right now there's a whole other revelation that all of the Bernie people, all of them were used and fell duped to some of the propaganda that Putin and Trump
I was controlled by Russia?
And Bernie Sanders, too, that he's a tool of the Russian oligarchy.
Fam, can you heal me? What do I need to stop having Rasputin run my life? What do I do?
I don't know. But I don't even know how people can even wrap their head around that. Let me just say, first of all, Bernie Sanders is one of the people that I disagree with on Russia. And I love Bernie Sanders, but I disagree with his take on Russia. So I know for a fact that he wasn't colluding with Putin because he's one of the people that was actually urging a sort of investigation.
Okay.
Now, saying that we were all duped and fell for the anti-Hillary propaganda, we didn't need to fall for 300 views of a propaganda to not vote for Hillary. Hillary did that on her own. And I think it's really dismissive and arrogant of the Democratic Party and these pundits and the establishment to right now, right when people are starting to put out their predictions for 2020, go and tell the majority of the people that could get one of these Democrats elected that they are stupid and that they were duped into believing the Russian propaganda. Number one, you're not taking any responsibility. You are not taking any accountability as a Democratic Party. You are doing nothing. You haven't changed a goddamn thing. You have no spine when it comes to dealing with Republicans. How are you going to expect to win? Like, they said, oh, we didn't need you. We don't need you, is what, a lot of the establishment said. And guess what? You did need us. And because you had that attitude of being some sort of like deserving, godly given a right to have Hillary as virtuous your nominee, you lost. And that is who is to blame. The Democratic Party for failing to work for its constituents, for failing to go to the working people, for failing to actually give solutions that millions and millions of Americans are looking for. And that is who is to blame for Donald Trump. No one else, not Russia, not Putin, not Jill Stein, not Susan Sarandon, for God's sakes.
Well, let me ask you a question, fam. Why are they still trying to run the same playbook? I mean, is it just to hold on to power, or do they really, really think that something's going to be different this time? I mean, it's almost like identical leading into 2016 from what we see in our own backyard from some of these progressives. I mean, it's just like they want to play the same identity politics, take the same corporate candidates. I mean, Katie Hill, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, let's talk about Katie Hill.
It's the same pattern, fam. What is going to happen? What is going to be any different? If anything, I think the establishment and those establishment-like-minded Democrats have lost power. They're barely holding on by a thread here in California, and their own DNC chair is under fire, fam.
Yeah, they're a mess. They're a mess. So I think we need to stop counting on the Democrats and the progressives, the actual progressives, who understand that Bernie Sanders or a Tulsi candidate, these candidates that are actually going to work for the people are the only ones that can beat Donald Trump. And if you look at who won in Congress this past election, you will be able to see that it was the people who went straight into working class issues like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and a lot of the DSA candidates who won in Pennsylvania. All of these people who won because they ran on populist, real working class issues. And if you're not going to do that, and if you're not going to run on Medicare for all, absolutely like no ands, ifs, or buts, you are no longer viable in our book. If you're going to be a pro-war imperialist, you are no longer viable, because it's those things that are taking money from our education, from our healthcare, from our prison reform, from our Green New Deal. We could absolutely solve everything if we were to implement a Green New Deal. We could create new jobs. We could help the planet, save the planet at this point, because we don't have any more time. And of course, people with enough healthcare would be better productive members of society if they actually had healthcare, if they were actually felt like they were being taken care of by their government. But we don't want that.
Yeah. Well, the Green New Deal is going away. They kneecapped Andrea Ocasio-Cortez. We'll talk about that later in the show.
Of course they
Right now, though, fam, let me throw some shout-outs there, because there's a lot of people online. I want to say hi to Dre Romy. We love you.
Drea.
Thank you for always watching out. Eli Diaz. Awesome. Go AMLO. We love you. TJ, big time Timmy Jim. We hear you out there. Melissa Michelson, thank you so much. You're the best Bernie Crowd in the world. Gregory Mallard, you're awesome. Amber Lee, we love you too as well. We always see you joining in. Julian Ospina, I love your posts. I always look at them. We like them all the time.
Tim Canova.
Miguel Zuniga, my boy. I love you, Miguel. Let's get together soon. Let's have a great time. Let's have you on the Convo couch, and we'll do your thing. Sarah Williams, Connie, Lori, we love you out there. Let's get on to the next subject. I can go all day with you peeps out there because you guys make me feel good around this time of the season because I don't like to think that any day is more important than another in Christmas, but around this time, you guys give me the love. Let's talk about Russia and David Serrata, fam. You put this up here. What do you got to say about this?
He's basically saying, what we've been saying. It's interesting that the Dem establishment strategy is to now openly insult 13 million Bernie-supporting Democratic primary voters and assert that they were just stupid rubes. Because that's exactly what we're doing. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. And they're failing to understand that if you put another corporate candidate like that, they're going to lose. I don't think it's through their head yet.
No.
And a lot of people
they're still holding on to power. They're still thinking that they can pull something off. They're still thinking they can apply the Pied Piper scenario.
Look, we have to defeat Donald Trump. Well, yes, we have to defeat Donald Trump. And by the way, if you think Donald Trump is like the worst thing we could possibly ever do, you're wrong. There are far worse type of people that are more pro-war and pro-imperialist who are actually like 10,000 times smarter than him, which would be a bigger danger. And that's the kind of future we have ahead if we don't think this through right now.
Well, let me ask you a question, fam. Who's more pro-war, Barack Obama or Donald Trump?
Well, so far, Barack Obama was the one who has actually bombed more.
And he's got a freeway named after him now.
Yeah, actually, so the 134 in California,
from Glendale to our house,
a big highway, the 134 is now going to be called the Obama. Yeah. The Barack Obama highway.
And the worst thing about Barack Obama is that his Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, just ruined this guy's legacy. You're talking about Syria. It was all about Madam Secretary. Libya, all about Madam Secretary. Honduras, which has caused the problem of the caravan today and why Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi will never address the issues. They just want you to talk about a government shutdown that's happening today instead of why the caravans are coming. You know why? Because they all profited from it, fam. Chuck Schumer's got his hands in all those pockets with all those lobbyists and his friends, the Hillary Clintons and the Clintons. He made money off of people's pain and suffering, and now they're showing up on our doorsteps, and he wants to talk about a government shutdown. Fam, I'm sorry for getting off topic.
No,
I
know.
You're supposed 100% to keep me on
right. Oh, well, and I do want to show another picture, by the way, from March 2nd, 2016. Mm-hmm. There's a Clinton rally versus a Sanders rally. Yeah. Now, I want you to look at that picture. All of these people right here in the Sanders rally are Russian bots.
They are.
All of them. Every single
one
of them.
Well, they're Russian controlled, or Russian duped, or Russian bots.
They were paid by Putin to be there. And travel 3 hours and wait in line for another 2 hours just to see an old white Jewish man from Brooklyn. Yeah. They were all paid.
Well, if you're listening to R.L. Miller out there, Bernie can't run because she's done with white men, period. Done. If you're a white man, it doesn't make you what you've done all those 30 years in Congress. The fact that you've been, fighting for equality, that you got arrested for standing up for equal rights in Chicago as a young kid, as they were not allowing, if they were making segregation still go on. It doesn't make a difference that you've always been out there fighting for universal health care, that you've been anti-war.
Before it was popular.
You're a white male. So therefore, with the identity politics, you can't run for office anymore because that's what we can't have that anymore, because that's what's ruining America.
And I get optics matter. Let optics do matter, unfortunately, in the world we're in, and because there is a divide. And I think we do need to have more women and women of color, and women give people who don't get these opportunities the opportunity. However, it doesn't mean that a person who's right for the job that happens to be a man, a white man, is not fit for the job solely based on that reason. Give me a palpable reason as to why. And I'll give you, I'll understand that. But when it just comes to dismissive surface level qualities, I'm sorry, that just doesn't work. Can you say that
word again?
Dismissive?
You got to write that. Dismissive
surface level qualities.
I love fam. Her English is so great. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that if you talk to a lot of civil rights people back in the days, they'll say the movement was all about inclusion. He says today this movement with this identity politics is all about exclusion. You know what I'm saying? It's like keeping people out, whatnot. And I just think it's a
it
dumb
just gives
thing.
the right more ammunition to attack us too. So and yeah, we just have the last one is the Bernie bro smear. Mythical hordes of white male voters for Bernie was Hillary's sick 2016 tactic to suppress his black voters. It was especially designed to make women of color who supported Sanders invisible. But today's mainstream media shills will only blame Russia.
Yeah.
And by the way, Bernie Sanders had the most people of color and women, more women than Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
If we look back on the statistics, and people like to talk about, the other that's a bunch of Bernie bros, but we've already, it's kind of annoying because we've already talked about this 2 years ago. Yeah. Like, this is annoying. Like, this, we've already discussed this. All of this is false, but it's coming back. And now they're trying to go into it another avenue.
They always play these tactics, too. Remember when Hillary Clinton released a picture when she was running against Barack Obama with him in the turban on? Mm-hmm. It's like you have no class, no character. All you do is smear because you have nothing to fight on, okay? You stand for nothing, you support nothing, and therefore your only tactic is to smear, belittle, and try to use identity politics to pull people your way. Well, it ain't working. They're up to your game. They know what's going on. The gig is out. And you're done. So give it up. It has to be a populist candidate with a populist message. The Tulsi Gabbards, the Bernie Sanders, maybe a Merkley I like, because nobody talks about Mr. Merkley from Oregon, but it's got to be someone of that nature, fam.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And the reason I think it's Bernie Sanders is because he already has an entire movement already.
What about
organizing, building... Oh, let's talk
about Beto. Wait.
Beto,
what about Joe Biden? Oh, come on. Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
So let's look real quick at this picture, because now we're going to talk about why the whole Beto, the whole
Bernie
Biden.
Sanders, yeah.
So there's a picture of Bernard, an old picture of Bernard Sanders.
So old you call him Bernard, not
Bernard.
Bernie.
I like that, Bernard. And as you can see, he's talking about the working class and the people in Vermont earning a minimum wage of $2 an hour. I mean, look at this. Way back when, I believe this was like 1974. And this is Bernard telling you the same thing he's been telling you for 30 years. Now, that could be a negative thing, but in this case, it's a positive thing because it shows he has the same integrity in 1974 to 2018. Yeah. And he's going to continue until the day he's gone. Yep. Because that is who he is. Someone that's been fighting for working class issues and social justice issues as well. And I don't really know you can say the same about very many people out there.
What do you mean? Chuck Schumer's been going around passing anti-BDS laws. He's got a plan. I mean, he won't do shit for working class people, but he's got the stones enough to put out anti-BDS laws.
And he speaks well, so,
I don't even think he speaks well, too. You know what I'm saying? I think I can't understand what him and Nancy Pelosi are saying half the time, really, to tell you the truth. I don't. That meeting with Trump in the office, that was just terrible. Where's that orange graph? Because I know you've been everybody's been throwing Beto out, and fam would just yell throughout the house, I wish they would stop with this Beto shit, fam. Sorry if I'm loud.
Just Beto 2020 is
it's driving you crazy.
It's just kind of like, just because someone's popular and charming and Obama 2.0,
now in vanilla, they say.
In vanilla, yeah. Like, I don't want... I'm sorry if that was insensitive, but I just feel like it's just kind of like this popularity bandwagon that's going on with no substance to it. I don't see how he has the experience. He's not right on the issues, and I would have liked for him to be Ted Cruz. I was 100% for that. However, can we stop making him a progressive, because he's not. He's
pro-Israel, you know what I'm saying? He's pro-oil.
Left of center.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you one more time, but we're going to get to the next subject, but I want to send some more shout-outs really quick, because Eric Zachary and Steve Wolbrand, they're on the line. Carlos Martinez, thank you for watching us instead of Jimmy Dore. He's going live right now, and the fact we got 25 people really says a lot to me, because I never wanted to go during this hour and stuff.
Oh.
But you're going to love this next subject we're going to talk about. Oh, really quick, let's point out what Joe Biden is all about, fam, before people think that he is the most qualified person to be the president and stuff like that.
Outside of the Anita Hill stuff, he voted for the Iraq War, to deregulate Wall Street, to gut welfare. He's not for net neutrality. Nope. He supports the drug war. And he wrote the disastrous 94 crime bill.
Well, fam, we had to get the super predators off the street. Remember that?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
think
That's
so.
the same clan. That's the same people. You know, he's also pro-NATO, pushing missiles on the border of Russia, too. He's always been that way, too. The guy is a hack. I used to like Joe, the working Joe. I liked him. That's why I used the term. That's a bunch of malarkey from his debate with Paul Ryan, but it's done. And last but not least, fam, we have to stop this myth that people say Bernie is too old. I was watching Jimmy Dore. We were just talking about him the other day. He was talking about going on the road with him one day, and he got exhausted one day. And the whole time, Bernie's out there stumping, giving speeches, walking with people.
I don't know how he does it.
He's still out there. I'm going to say this now. Every time I see
him.
Bernie, he looks better. I don't know if they got him on some herbs or some vitamins or something, but his face looks better. His haircut looks good, and he will not slow down. I love seeing him on the third rally when he's full of sweat, fam. And you're going to say he's too old?
When he came to California in June and we did the Bernie Sanders rally, yeah. I was at another rally. He had been early in the morning, and then he went to that one in LA, and then he went to 2 other events after, and he was fine. He was, he was chilling, and he had a cough, and even then he was still running around. So Bernie is too old, they say. Yeah. We need new blood. But also, Ocasio-Cortez has no experience, and we need someone experienced, like Biden, who is the same age as Bernie, but not Bernie. He's too old. So this meme...
The twister. We got Bernie bouncing up down our head.
Wait, what? So this is a good one to kind of put out anytime they give you that logic. Someone's always going to be too old. Someone's always going to be too young, too inexperienced. It's just... It's
the mental gymnastics they play in their head.
A good reason.
Yeah. And so you got to figure out these things in a ways that come off, she might stand for, a Green New Deal, but let's just kind of twist it out of the way, put your right hand on left. Bernie Sanders might stand for equality and money, but let's, he's too old, let's put it, we got to support our candidate. And they're playing mental gymnastics, they're twisting the board all around, and it's nothing but a bunch of malarkey. We don't need Beto, we don't need Biden, we need Bernie.
And because I've been seeing a lot of quote-unquote progressives putting... pro-Warren, pro-Beto, pro-Harris, or pro any Democrat will do kind of information. I want to point out something that was sent to me to my Facebook, and you have it here, this text.
You're going to go say this right now?
Yeah.
So you can get it out of the way.
Yeah, I'm going to get it out of the way.
Well, fam, you can at least read it if he doesn't have it up. We'll pay attention.
Okay, so this post says, I'm going to say this right now so I can get it out of the way. I will be supporting the Democratic nominee for president, and I don't give a fuck who it is. I have my preferences, but I'll be damned if I let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Most of the potential nominees agree on 75% of the issues. Am I supposed to not vote if I don't get 100% of what I want? When was the last time you got 100% of what you wanted? This question is for everyone who isn't a straight white male. Oh, okay. We don't have time for the bullshit. We literally have 10 years to save the planet from global warming. We have 3 polar bears left on the whole planet, and 2 of them drive for Uber. Not one in Mississippi has any teeth. Kid Rock is still on the loose. Brett Kavanaugh is drunk right now. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is 706 years old. We have real fucking issues to solve, and the Democratic president and Congress can go a long way towards fixing some of them. Look at these last 2 years. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to avoid another 4 years of this bullshit. Anything with a D next to it is better than Trump or Pence or whoever those bitch ass ends nominate. We can sort all of that shit out later, but there won't be a later if the Democrats don't get control of the government.
Fam,
can I ask you how you feel about that?
Let me tell you something. Number one, they're not 75% with us on everything. That's such a fallacy. That's such a bullshit thing. Number one, the Democrats aren't with us on war. Okay, they are pro-war. They fund the budget. They want us to stay now in Syria. Some of them are saying we should protect the Kurds, whatnot. They're the ones who started a lot of these wars, and yet they're saying that we agree with them. So no, we don't agree on war. Do people forget that Obama was the fracker in chief? Was fracking fracking exploded under Obama? Okay, so we're not about the weather and the atmosphere and global warming. They're not there with us on that. Okay. Are they there with us on equality as far as $15 an hour? Because I don't see a lot of those Democrats out there stumping for $15 an hour and stuff. So, I mean, no, it's a bunch of shit. It doesn't make a difference, a D or an R. It's about the corporatist, globalist mentality. And we have to stay away from that.
I think we have to stay away from thinking that NED is better than an R. That's not the point. You can get Donald Trump out and you can put another one in, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Like, we need to get focused on the issues. And when I see statements like this, statements that are ignoring the fact that they're two sides of the same coin, I know that it's coming from a place of fear, from emotion, because, you know, people are upset and they see all of this happening right now with Trump. Now, Trump has been horrible on immigration. He's not an empathetic, compassionate human being. He's given huge tax cuts to the wealthy.
On Mother Earth, he sucked.
All of that can be criticized.
Mother Earth.
We only have a little more than a decade to save our planet. It is precisely because of that we can't continue voting for Democrats who take money from oil.
Yep.
Like
Beto.
Are you kidding me? It doesn't matter. He made a pledge not to take a certain amount of money. So him going back on that pledge, to me, says everything. That's just before he's even elected to a higher position. Imagine what would happen if he weren't. And I think, you know, just being so hyper-focused on these last 4 years, these last 4 years aren't just happening now because of Trump. Like, he wasn't even in office when the foundation to all of the bullshit happening now was laid out. In 2009, like he said, Honduras, Hillary Clinton, Obama, all of the stuff that happened back then, the bailouts, Wall Street, all of that is coming to fruition now. The stock market is crashing again because of everything that's been coming for a long time. Yeah. So we cannot just say these last 4 years, oh my God, just because the media, you know, makes you focus on Trump. Trump is a symptom of the problem. He is not the problem. And I would love for him to be out of office, but
you got to replace him with the right person.
Exactly, because I want him and those kinds of people, that kind of mindset out of office is why we need something that's the complete opposite, not something that's just flashy and has no substance, which is how I see the corporatist.
And if Hillary Clinton would have run against Trump again, I would not vote for Hillary Clinton this time. I made that mistake once. I was backdoored into stuff. I was pressured. I will not do that again. But before we get to our next segment, Fam has to talk about the housing as a right thing right over there.
Yeah, so
send some shout
this is for
mainly
for people in California. So we have the Housing is a Human Right Parade. Carlos Marroquin, he's an amazing activist. His birthday is tomorrow, by the way.
Happy birthday, Carlito.
If you want to go, yeah, he's only 30.
30 años.
If you want to go help him out, he's making more boxes and decorations for the parade. There's going to be dancing. There's actually going to be a float. But this parade is going to basically, you know how the Rose Parade is all about flowers and pretty things. Basically, it's going to be like an activist message.
Get your vest ready.
The parade.
Get those yellow vests.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to Bernie Sanders Brigade and Carlos Marroquin and Bernie Sanders Coffee Shop and all the people that are working right now. They need help. So if you can attend January 1st.
And then I'm going to make some pierogies after. If you know me, you can come on over. Let's talk about socialism, because I had a little talk with somebody the other day. Because, fam, people say socialism doesn't exist. You say the word socialism. And every time you say that word, and it strikes an enormous amount of fear from hearts on the right. You'll hear stories of Stalin and Castro will be whispered throughout the air. I mean, talk about you're an alarmist. Yet, technically, America already has socialism. But it's for the rich. That's right. America no longer cares for its workers, only the job creators. And that's been going on since 1980, fam. That's when this shit all started. And those job creators get the full benefits of socialism through a thing called a bailout, fam. You might have heard of it. Yes, instead of allowing these big corporations to fail, like PG&E, they get a handout from the government, and it's taken out of our hard-earned tax dollars. In fact, one of the biggest bailouts in America came in 2008 when, under the influence of Timothy Geithner and Larry Sanders, President Barack Obama gave all the major banks a huge bailout. Remember that, fam?
Oh, yeah.
And not only did they pretty much steal our money, but they used that bailout money to give their CEOs huge bonuses as well. Just like the GM
Trump did.
She's getting herself a $22 million bonus, but yet closing plants. Okay? And they even used a nice portion of that money, fam, to lobby against the guy who gave it to them. So Obama gave them the money. They used some of it to inflate their stock, give their CEO benefits.
And Trump's doing the same thing. Yeah. He did the same thing. I mean...
Except they're not lobbying against him. They're just keeping that money and saying no problem. They actually used that money to lobby against Barack Obama. And all that money found its way into the greediest people's pockets, okay? And at the same time, and this is what I'm talking about, all these bailouts go on, 1 million people were evicted from their homes under Barack Obama. 1 million people were evicted from their homes. So instead of bailing out the big banks, he could have just bailed out the people, saved their homes, and done such a thing, okay? And it's quite obvious that socialism isn't working for the middle class in America. It only works for the oligarchs, okay? And over these years, these bailouts have only increased, fam. There's been bailout after bailout after bailout. Right now in our backyard, I went the other day, Assemblyman Chris Oldham in District 41, okay? He's toyed with proposing yet another bailout to the energy conglomerate PG&E. Now, PG&E has over 14 million customers, okay? They are known to not keep up with their maintenance, to let their stuff just kind of fold, all their equipment, and they might be the ones who started one of these last fires. So over the weekend, some of the activists showed up at Chris Holden's holiday party. Mm-hmm. Do we have some pictures or a video, I think? And they had some songs. Take a look at this. It's no surprise. Chris Holden was there, but I got to tell you this much. Chris Holden did take his medicine. Fam, do we have a video? Because they had some great lyrics, and they sang some songs. Chris Holden came out and faced the fire, which is something a lot of politicians in California don't do. They kind of hide. And at the end of the day, the activists, they won something big, fam. They want to sit down to talk to Chris about the bailouts, okay?
That's something.
So let's talk about this, fam, okay? Because I thought the most important rule in 2016 was no more corporate money. No more bailouts. Mm-hmm. It's still going on, fam.
Of course.
So what gives?
Well, they're going to do it until I think people say that
do we have it?
They can't continue to do it.
Let's take a look at this video real quick of Chris Holden. Our mics are off, huh?
Santa Holden, your bailout bill is really so bad, so sad. They just need to go broke, Santa Holden. So listen to the people right now. Santa Holden, you have the chance to do the right thing. We sing. Public power is great, Santa Holden. So listen to the people right now.
Kind of creative. They took all these songs.
Really good lyrics.
Yeah, Lauren Steiner helped write some of them. There was a couple other activists. It was great. And fam, I don't know if this is going to stop. These bailouts are just driving me crazy. And really, what it is it's socialism, but just for the rich. So when people go, oh, socialism, like, we have it. We've been bailing out the banks. We've been bailing out the energy company. We bail out anybody who has political help and political friends on Wall Street.
I think we're coming to a point where I believe wholeheartedly that if in 2020 we don't get a Bernie Sanders to the White House, it's going to be 4 years of Trump. And then we're going to see a lot more of violence, a lot more of uprising, because people are now coming to a point where it's the tipping point. And not only with our climate, simultaneously mirroring what's happening within, civilization itself, within our economy. And we have people like AMLO on one side, but then we have, neo-fascists in other parts of the country. So I think right now, the United States, it's at this point where which way are you going to go? And right now we're leaning to the right, and we need to take hold and go back. And it's not even about, literally the left or the right. It's just about the working class. The working class is uprising. We're seeing it in France.
Yeah.
They're fighting these neoliberal / corporatist globalist policies, and the time is now. So it's now or never, fam. And let's talk about Donald Trump's war.
Yeah, and Syria, let a couple shout outs before we finish up the show. Prince AG, we love you, fam. Thank you so much. Scott Dakota, Carlos Martinez, I know you sent a shout out before. Larry Hughes, Steve Wolbrand has joined us. And over on the YouTubes, we have Darren Levy, Tony Patton, and Zach Pruidian.
Oh.
Prudian, whatnot. Okay. Let's get to the ending, fam. Let's talk about this last thing, because this is the thing that's just been driving me apeshit crazy. Donald Trump is getting out of Syria. 2,000 troops are coming home. We weren't supposed to be there in the first place. It took him a little time. Now, he's said shit like this before, and honestly, he's also talking about Afghanistan. If he does pull the trigger on this, fam, this is a very positive thing. And TruthDig had this great article that says we are allowed to celebrate Trump's withdrawal from Syria. We're allowed to celebrate peace, Pam, aren't we?
Yeah, we're absolutely allowed to celebrate peace. We're I don't know what's going on or what's been going on in into the minds of people, but getting our troops out of a country, decreasing our warmongering, our imperialism is a good thing. No matter what,
who's in office?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Period. Yeah. There's always going to be the excuses of, well, we need to protect the Kurds. Well, we need to stay there. We act like we have this God-given privilege to go in there and protect people, but it's not about that. We're not there to protect anyone. We're there to protect our assets, and that's all it is. Yeah. And I think the fact that people like to refer to Mathis, who just resigned, as
here we go again,
as
Mad Dog Mathis,
the last adult in the House. It's
Mad
ridiculous.
Dog Mathis, a neocon.
A neocon. To the Can we stop?
War. And you know why he disagrees with Trump? Because Trump wants to pull out of Afghanistan, and he strongly disagrees with it. So
why
he's
do you
quitting.
think he disagrees with it?
Well, first of all, let's be honest. It's all about Russia. Russia wants us out of Syria. Russia wants us out of Afghanistan. It's not like what Ralph Nader said or Ron Paul said. It's like, no, we're going broke over there. It's costing us money. That's why we got to leave. But no, once again, the mainstream media and all these people are saying Trump is doing exactly what Russia wants to do. They haven't let go of the Russian narrative. And you know what? While that's going on the whole time, we showed up in Adam Schiff's office the other day. I went to cover it to sing Adam Schiff the song for the last day of a Green New Deal. Fam, do you think he signed on to the Green New Deal or not? Yes or no?
No, of course not.
Okay, and guess what else happened in Congress? Steny Horner and all the other people in the Democrats in Congress kneecapped the progressive movement. They screwed over Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and they screwed us over. They screwed Mother Earth over. We needed a Green New Deal, and they shut them down.
Potential jobs in these green tech fields. A Green New Deal literally does that. It literally decreases your need for oil, thereby decreasing our need for war and our need for troops there, and all of that they don't want because they profit from it. And that's the hard
Even
truth.
My friend who's not really big into politics, he goes, Pasta, I'm not that big of an idealist as you. He goes, but I think what they just did to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is disgusting.
Yeah,
it's disgusting
what they did. It's sadly not surprising.
No, it's not surprising at all.
But it's disgusting.
You know what Adam Schiff and the rest of the Democrats are? Fugazis. Not Fugazis, DTC. Fugazis.
Oh my God, they're
Give me the video over there. We had this argument between the difference of Fugazi and Fugazi. Fugazi is the band. Fugazi is a fake. Show it.
Give it to somebody that don't know any better, because that's a Fugazi. All right?
That's a Fugazi? How do you know it's a Fugazi? You looked at it for 2 seconds.
Well, it's a fake.
Yeah, I know what a Fugazi is.
There's a Fugazi.
There's a lot of Fugazis in the Democratic
Pelosi's
Party.
Fugazi.
Let's just say that right now.
All these progressives that are establishment friendly, that will turn the blind eye into corporate money, because they told all these other Senate candidates that were running, oh, I'm sick and tired of taking this corporate money. They're so disgusting. And then they have one discussion with Kevin DeLeon, and they're like, lights all over. Sensationalism is live and well, and you guys are the ones who are the suckers, and we ain't playing the game no more. If you ain't anti-war, if you ain't for the people, if you're going to take corporate money, you're out.
And it's not about being pure, by the way. We can't afford to let any of that go. We can't afford to let our environment go. We can't afford to let Medicare for all go. We can't afford to let wages and things that are for the working people, because we always have money for war. We never have enough money for people over here in the United States. And let me just read this really, really quickly, because this is really good from the article. Impulsive, irresponsible, and dangerous. Such was the way, just this morning on CNN, that Democratic Representative and House Minority Whip Steny Hoyer described President Trump's recent announcement that he's bringing home 2,000 U.S. troops currently in Syria. Last night, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, a true Hawks hawk, declared on the Senate floor that Trump's decision is a disaster and a stain on the honor of the United States. Oh, 2 points here. One minor, one major. Let's begin with a semantic quibble. When maintaining national honor, quote unquote, becomes a last-ditch argument for continuing indecisive, perpetual war, perhaps it really is time to leave. And more importantly, there's this. Anytime that Steny Hoyer and Lindsey Graham are in agreement and share a disdain for a foreign policy decision, even a Trump decision, well then, the president might just be onto something.
Yep. And you don't think he is? You don't think that's picking up votes? You don't think that the mainstream, the populist people aren't going to pick on to that and stuff? These Democrats, that's a Democrat that's being a war hawk agreeing with the Hawks hawk. I'm sorry, fam. This is the stuff that gets me wound up.
Right. So in doing this, and Trump might be picking up the independent votes. The people who are anti-war, who are like, we're waiting for him, because this isn't a brash choice he just made out of nowhere. He's been talking about this. He campaigned on this 6 months ago. Yeah. Talking about getting out of Syria. Talking about decreasing military, because that's what he ran on.
Sam, how about him calling out the Bushes on their illegal war in Iraq? Not one Democrat was able to come forth and tell those Bushes, what you did, you lied to the people and people died. He did that in a debate in South Carolina while the Bushes was sitting right there.
And look, this isn't trying to praise Trump or give him credit for anything, really, but this is actually something that wouldn't have happened if Hillary Clinton were president. In fact, we'd be at war with Syria.
We probably would. We'd be at war with Russia with a no-fly zone.
And what I hate seeing is, oh, damn, if Hillary Clinton were president, we'd be at brunch. Yeah, you would. You would be at brunch right now, having your avocado toast, not worried about it, because you would think that everything was fine. Meanwhile, everything's falling apart. And at least with this bullshit of an administration that's just given us, like, nightmares since 2016, we are more aware of what's happening. At least the people are. The Democrats, not really, but we are more aware of what's happening, and it's ignited an activist, anti-right wing movement and more populist movement that we're seeing the fruits of start spreading right now. Yeah. And that's what we have to remember. And that if Donald Trump does something that might help us, okay, I can't stand the man, but okay, this is actually a good thing. Separate your feelings for him for what this is actually a good thing. Yeah. And there's always going to be an excuse to stay in war. There's always going to be an excuse for us to be there. And we're done with excuses.
If Donald Trump runs again against another establishment candidate and he can attack the establishment candidate in the Democratic side from the left because he's less about war, he's more anti-war than the candidate, we're fucking doomed. We're done. That's why we need a Bernie. That's why situations like this today, we need more of a Bernie, because Bernie's going to also, listen, we have to pay attention to what's going on in Central and South America too. Our involvement there is about heating up. Nicaragua, Cuba, Honduras is already in the past. We still have Venezuela hanging on. So there's a lot of issues going on right there, which is kind of funny to me, fam, because I thought that Donald Trump would go in there and fix that first and pull out of there first, because that's causing the migration problem. However, he's been kind of doing certain things in the Middle East that, are progressive values, ending war in the Middle East. So
and the thing is, with someone like Bernie or Tulsi who went and spoke to Assad and then got ridiculed by her own party for being a pro-Assad and for being talking to a dictator. No, like, we have to do that. That's what politicians are supposed to do. You're supposed to avoid war. You're not supposed to just go and occupy countries and bomb people, and we need to stop thinking with that mentality that that's what we're supposed to do. What she did was a good thing. What Bernie does about in trying to get us to stop funding the Saudis, to get out of Yemen, those are the things we need to focus on too. And a lot of the times we can't focus on that because we're too busy working 3 jobs. We're too busy trying to make ends meet here in America.
That's where the bullshit statistics come in about Donald Trump and the economy, by the way.
So that's where the bullshit is.
Because we're really not, it was, we were doing good economically. No, I don't like the tax code. I don't like what he's done. I don't like him on Mother Earth. There are other reasons to get rid of Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying? But if you keep on going this establishment corporatist route with the Democratic Party, and you're going to take people who are pro-war, you're going to fucking lose again. you're going to fucking lose. And you need to get your head out of your ass.
Let's just stop edifying warmongering behavior because that's what we're doing. Right. Regardless of who's doing it, getting troops back home is a good thing, period.
And fam, we got to get at war with the house upstairs because the fam's fam is coming to town. I'm going to see my homegirl Vanessa. Where you at? And your moms, and get to meet your dad. And just show a little picture of Johnny. Johnny, show yourself. Thank you so much. Here's our great engineer. He's really rooting for UCF. Come on. Wow. Yeah, that's my boy over there. He's been great. You've changed our lives since you've come. It's the Christmas kind of time. Remember we were doing this last year, fam? We had our hats on. We had a tree. We got Bernie Sanders running by Hillary Clinton once again. But I just want to say thank you. I've had an amazing time, and I am thankful to have this show with you, fam, because you are amazing at this stuff, and you bring out the great political side of me. And Johnny, I think you've been amazing with the engineering and have taken our show to another level. These little fun graphics behind are awesome. And I just want to tell you, fam, the future looks bright, and we're going to step it up even more, and we're going to bring you the Convo Couch on a regular basis, on a daily basis once we get our shit in order.
Yes, we are working on that. Consistent schedule will likely be Mondays and Wednesdays, but stay tuned for more information. I want to thank fam for keeping up with my antics and my craziness and my...
There's a lot of that.
My ADD and all that. But
you're amazing,
yeah, thanks
fam.
guys for watching. And remember, support progressives, support the cause, support working people. That is what's important right now, is solving our problems on the bigger scale. Yeah. You know.
And if you can go over to our YouTube, our Convo Couch YouTube, and subscribe, go over to our Facebook, like and subscribe. We need those numbers. We need to hit them up. Thank you so much. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella. Convo out.
Convo out.
That's right.
We leave you with a little MF Doom Christmas Orchestra.
I like it.
We had a total of 55 watchers.
Hey, if you liked our video and want to support independent media, please like, share, and subscribe below.
Yeah, we have a Facebook, a Twitter, a YouTube, and coming soon, fam, we're going to be on Roku.
Take it easy, fam. And if you have any change to spare, please subscribe to our Patreon below to keep us going.
Yes, anything would help with that.
Thanks again for watching. Convo out.